Welcome to the District 7 Budget Town Hall. My name is Stacy Fitzgerald, and I serve as the Coordinator of Community Engagement and Constituent Services. I will be your moderator for the evening. We still have a little bit of mic feedback. This town hall is part of our annual Budget Town Hall series and is your opportunity to let county leaders know what you and your communities think should be funded in the county's fiscal year 27 budget. This evening, we will hear opening remarks from your District 7 County Council member, Shannon Ledbetter. Then, County Executive Pittman and Budget Officer Chris Trumbauer will share a presentation about the county's budget process and the outlook for the FY27 budget. After the presentation, we will open the floor for public testimony, and you will get a chance to share your budget requests. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce the other elected officials we have in the audience tonight. We have Delegate Stuart Schmidt and Robert Bissett representing Delegate Seth Howard's office. I'd also like to introduce our department directors who are here this evening. Jessica Lays, the Director of the Department of Recreation and Parks, and Karen Henry, the Director of Public Works. And now, without further ado, I would now like to introduce Councilmember Shannon Ledbetter.
Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all here. This is my fourth District 7 Budget Town Hall with County Executive Pittman, and I will not lie, I am incredibly proud, and I do brag to my council colleagues that we always get such a strong vocal turnout and participation, and I just think it's such a strong reflection of the citizens who live in this district, and I'm just so grateful and proud to represent you and to be one of you. It's been an honor of my life having this opportunity to be your representative, and I'm really happy that you're here tonight. One of the things I think it's important to recognize about the budget is part of the process. One of the reasons it's so important that you get heard tonight is that by the time the budget makes it to the council chambers, I always like to equate it to it's a pie that's already been baked, in the sense that it's a certain size and it's a certain size dish. In the council, we can kind of change maybe the proportions. We can cut a little here, shave a little there, redistribute, but we can't make the pie bigger. We can't add to it. So tonight is your night to be heard, to make sure that what you want to see in that pie and how big you want that pie to be, this is your chance to really be heard as the county executive then goes on to make his deliberations and eventually present that budget to the county council. So, and then the decisions I make on how I may or may not redistribute or shave along with my colleagues on the council, a lot of those decisions are going to be based on what I hear, not just tonight, but through public testimony and through the entire process. So thank you all for the time that you're investing in your community by being here tonight, and let's get this going. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ledbetter. And now I'd like to introduce County Executive Stuart Pittman.
Good to see you all, neighbors. It's fun to do District 7 first. I think we've had a pretty good 4 years, and I think I've had a pretty good coming on 8. This is the last one. This is the last budget that I'll do as county executive, and I guess this is about the 48th budget town hall. So we'll have done 56 by the end, 8 times 8. No, 64 by the end, however it works, yeah. No, 7 times 8. It's actually 8 because we do one in Spanish virtually at the end every year, so it depends on how you do your calculations. But I'm going to actually read something that pretty much sums up what I'm thinking about this year. What is Chris always asks me, the budget officer always asks me to do a statement, and it has to be brief. And so it says, budgets, there it is. Budgets are a statement of values and strategy. I just wrote this yesterday, and I was very proud of this. Did you like this, Chris? I did all right, okay. I'm always trying to live up to the high standards of our budget officer. Budgets are a statement of values and strategy. The 7 that came before this one demonstrate a belief that government matters. Our schools, our public safety, our environment, our health, and the people who live here all benefit when we invest in effective government. This is the last budget that I will present as county executive. My commitment is to remain fiscally disciplined, to continue seeking the wisdom of our residents, and to prioritize opportunities for those among us who have too often been left behind. We enter this process with the highest bond ratings, the highest reserves, the greatest infrastructure investments, and the strongest workforce this county has ever had. This final budget must leave for the next administration a house in good order. So that should go without saying that we want to leave this county in a place where we don't do the sins that politicians often do in budgeting, which is to spend one-time money on recurring things and pretend that it will never come home to roost. That's what happens over and over and over again, where somebody comes into a government situation and the revenues just don't meet the expenses and have to bail things out, administration after administration. We've been, I would say, lucky. I'm not going to take all the credit for this. People who were in this county before me were fiscally disciplined as well. And we've got an amazing budget team, and you'll hear from Chris Trumbauer, who not only understands numbers, but he has a sense of humor, and he can even crack a joke every once in a while that will make you laugh. But most importantly, to understand the way all this works and the way we put it together. For District 7, because I live here, and because I've lived here all my life, and because I love it, I've had to be a little bit careful about making sure that we don't put all the money in District 7. But if some of you will say District 7 never gets any of the money, but I just want to note a few projects, some of which came out of these budget town halls that some of you who've been coming every year will remember and maybe celebrate. I want to say that one of the things I'm most proud of is that District 7 does have an agricultural economy. And to keep South County rural, we have to make sure that farms are profitable, and we have to listen to farmers to do that effectively. And we turned our Ag Commission in Anne Arundel County into pretty much 100% farmers. And they have been a really major player in policy in the county, and a lot of legislation has come out of our Ag Commission recommendations. There's a lot more to do there. If we can get Maryland's first regional ag center in the southern part of our county, where the grain elevator is, that is something that our economic development folks are studying. That'll be a huge win. Deal Park, remember that was going to be developed, and folks came to the budget town hall here. And I know it's been slow. It's almost done, right? Director Lays, yes, it is almost done, and it's going to be pretty awesome. Edgewater Rec Center is one that we looked at, and we all drove by that abandoned grocery store that then became the Halloween store, and we talked at the county level about the need for indoor recreation all over the county, really. And you can come to the and see what the design looks like. They're going to be breaking ground. We've got our Resilience Authority working on that. And it's going to be amazing, and it's going to move. Believe it or not, it feels like it's been moving slowly, but it's going to move faster than most projects in the county because we've got our Resilience Authority doing that work. We've got Southern High Fields that we've done as a result of people coming to these budget town halls. The Enclave at Crofton was something that people came to fight against at these budget town halls. Now it's trees. Congratulations, those of you who planted them in Crofton. The Crofton Park Skateboard Park is going to be a reality very soon. There was a lot of concern about the parks on the Mayo Peninsula and what was too much and what was not enough and what was the right mix. And I think anybody who's been to Beverly Beach Nature Park lately will see that it's pretty amazing. Mayo Parks has been improved. And we haven't turned South River Farm Park into a Disneyland, and we won't. But we will make some smaller improvements there. The Edgewater Senior Center has been really revitalized in a way that our seniors really appreciate. The Ralph Butch Community Center is going to be saved and it is going to be improved. Rockall Creek Barn that our 4-H folks use has been upgraded and improved. And a lot of these are rec and parks that Jessica Lays over here is smiling broadly. There was one that was a big issue when I came in. It was going to be developed. There was a developer that had a plan and they'd laid it all out. It was this beautiful forest with a lot of wetlands, and they had just developed a parcel that was adjacent to it and had a stop work order because there were wetlands and they had already clear cut the forest. You might have seen in my campaign literature that there were pictures of all of that at a place called Glebe Heights on the Mayo Peninsula. And last night, the county council approved the purchase of Glebe Heights so that it will be preserved as for nature. For perpetuity. Some places just shouldn't be developed, and there are a number of them that we've saved and will continue to save as long as I'm in office. We've got some more to announce coming. Really proud of all of that. So I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody has to say. As always, I will stand up here at the end if it doesn't go too long and respond to a bunch of the stuff. If it goes too long, then maybe we won't have time for much of that. I won't say yes or no that it's going to be in the budget or it's not going to be in the budget, but I will make sure that you will be heard. We will be taking notes. Both of us will be taking notes, and our staff will be taking notes. And DPW will be sending text messages about potholes as you talk, and Rec and Parks will be doing the same, and it'll all be fixed by tomorrow morning. So thank you for being here.
All right, well, thank you, County Executive, for those brief remarks. And so we're going to dive in now. Just show of hands, who's been to one of these budget town halls before? All right, so you've seen the slideshow. So we tuned it up a little this year. We made it a little shorter, a little quicker. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah, all right. There's still some good stuff in it. It'll be fine, but we know we want to get to your comments. So the first slide we want to talk about is the budget process. And you heard the council member Ledbetter say that by the time it gets to the council, all the decisions have been made, right? Well, guess what? 0 decisions have been made right now. No decisions. And that's why we have these in January, because we want to hear from the community. We want to hear from individuals what's important to you, what are your priorities. This guy will make decisions probably in early April, so right now is budget development time. So this is coming into the process at just the right time. You can see this color-coded chart here. Blue is when the administration is developing the budget. So we're having the budget town halls now in January and sometimes early February. The next step is the departments, all of the county departments submit their budget requests to the budget office. We review them, we make recommendations, we then pass those on to the county exec and his team to make decisions on what will get proposed into the actual budget on May 1st. And that's where you see the blue transitions to the green, right? May 1st is a big deal. The proposed budget is introduced, and then it becomes the property, if you will, of the county council. So that's the yellow. So the county council gets it. They get 45 days to review it. They have the auditor's office and their legislative staff look at every nickel and every nook and cranny. Then they make amendments and recommendations. They vote on them. Then the administration can come back and put in supplemental amendments to add things back into the budget. And then they wrap it all up by June 15th. It's required to pass by June 15th. And we have a budget for the next fiscal year. So we're at the very beginning of this journey. We're still in the early stages of the blue, and that's why we want to hear from you. So real quick, some review. Money, right? We need money to run the government. Where does it come from? Mostly it comes from property tax and income tax. That's the blue and the red slices of the pie. That's 3/4 of our revenue. We also get money from real estate taxes. We get license and permits and fees. Those are very small slices of the pie. So income tax and property tax is where the action is. And the number at the bottom there, it's about $2.4 billion operating budget. The other side of that, where does the money go? Well, guess what? Half of it goes to our friends in the public schools, and we're in a public school now. They are good partners, but about half our budget goes there to teach the 80,000 plus students that we have in our system. And then you can see the other core sections. We have public safety, general government, land use, human services, but that's how it breaks out on where the money goes. Now, we are a little over halfway through the current year budget. Starts July 1st, it ends June 30th. Just as a reminder, what's in the current year budget? Some pretty good stuff. First of all, we reduced the property tax rate by 0.6 cents, so that was kind of cool, right? People like it when their taxes go down. We were able to do that because we have a property tax revenue cap in the county, and when assessments go up and the inflation level isn't too high, we're able to reduce the rate that you pay on your property tax. We've been building up our rainy day fund. That's our reserve fund, like your savings account at home to tuck away if there's emergencies. So we've got that at about $179 million right now. And we've been able to extend some of the critical health and human services programs that we created during the pandemic to help people in need or that are struggling with behavioral health issues or food, hunger issues. So we've transitioned some of those from the federal assistance dollars we got into recurring county dollars so that they can keep going and keep helping people. And then last year, we also made a record investment of $52 million of new funding to our school system as they work to meet their blueprint for education challenges and take care of all of our students. And then we were able to create 14 new public safety positions, and we did all of that while maintaining the best of the best AAA bond rating for all three credit agencies. So very proud of that. Pretty good year budget-wise. And I believe the budget passed unanimously, so thank you to our county council members for that too. All right, property tax comparison. Everybody likes looking at their neighbors, right? Comparing themselves to our neighbors. Guess what? We're the yellow, the gold bar there. This is our property tax rate, right? So everybody on this side, on your left, they're paying higher rate than we are. You got friends in Baltimore County, you got friends in Frederick, you got friends in Howard County, they're paying higher property taxes than you are, okay? Remember I told you that we reduced the rate? That's that little arrow. So we went from, I think, maybe the 12th lowest, we went back down to the 9th lowest. If you want to pay lower property tax than Anne Arundel County, you got to move to like Wicomico County or Worcester or something like that, okay? So pretty good deal to live in Anne Arundel County. Other side, income tax, right? This is our other big thing. This is a little bit of a busy chart. If you're super interested in this, you can go to the website and you can download it. But the quick story here is we're the 5th lowest average rate in Maryland. All those counties on this side are all paying higher. They're mostly paying 3.2%, which is the highest that any county has. Most people are paying a 2.94%. You pay a little bit lower rate on the first $50,000 you make, and if you're fortunate enough to make a high amount above $400,000 or so, then you're going to pay that 3.2% in Anne Arundel, but only on the amount of income that's above that threshold. All right, I mentioned our rainy day fund. You can see how we've grown it over the year in partnership with the county council as we've raised the maximum that we're allowed to have. This is particularly important now as we're in a big area of uncertainty, especially with our new federal administration. No one's entirely sure what's going to happen to the economy. So if there is a downturn or if there is bad news, we've got that money saved up so that we can fill in the gaps and not have to lay off workers or shut down services in the short term. So that is good news. All right, the next slide. This is important because, as the county exec mentioned, this is his last year of a 8-year tenure. And we wanted to show appreciation. We talked about some of the things that have built this strong fiscal foundation, and this was possible because of many things. But we want to thank our county council members in particular. They pass the budget, and they amend the budget and make it better every year. We like to thank our county workforce and our bargaining units. Many of them are here tonight for their continued strong partnership. Our department heads for bringing good projects to us and working with us to get all the things that they're doing done every year. And then this is a particularly important one. We have a great relationship between Anne Arundel County government and Anne Arundel County Board of Education. I can tell you, not every county is that fortunate. So because County Executive Pittman and Superintendent Bedell talk frequently, and the Board of Ed and the County Council interact, and even on the staff level, we get a lot of things done without some of the argumentative fighting that you may see in other jurisdictions between their local governments and their boards of ed. So we are fortunate to have good partners over there, and they get half our budget, so we like it when we get along, right? All right, so now let's talk about a couple of investments we made in recent years. We're very proud of this one, public safety funding. This was a priority for County Executive Pittman when he got elected his first year in office. We boosted salaries. We tried to hire as many new positions as we can. And so since 2018, when County Executive Pittman was elected, we've increased public safety salaries by an average of 43.6%, right? And during that time, we've filled 164 public safety positions. That's tremendous progress, and we're very proud of that. Vacancy rates have gone down across the board. Firefighter vacancies were a high of 9.4% in 2019. In the most recent data, they're 3.5%, okay, almost a third. Police officer vacancies, they were at 9.3% in 2019. They're down to 4.7%, and they're making tremendous progress. Their recruit classes are growing as we speak. The sheriff vacancies are a particularly good success story. Just as recent as a year ago, they had a vacancy rate of 21.6% for their sworn positions. Sheriff Sesker and his team, working with county personnel, have been able to reduce that to less than 7% as of December 1st of last year. So we're working hard to fill those vacancies and get our public safety officers on the street. Schools. We talked about how important our investment to the schools is. Since 2018, we've increased direct funding to the school system from $68.7 million to $981.6 million. That's almost a $300 million increase of 43%. And we've gotten a tremendous return on that investment. We've reduced chronic absenteeism. We've got now 15 five-star schools, and over half of our schools are 4 stars or higher on the state ranking system, which is incredible. And in the 23-24 school year, we improved starting teacher salary from 19th in the state all the way up to 4th. And our instructional, yes, we're very, very proud of that. Our instructional staff retention rate is now 95.7%, and vacancies have plummeted. How much have they plummeted? Let's show you. All right, classroom teacher vacancies. 2022, not that far ago, 283 vacancies at the start of the school year out of 6,190 total positions. Steady progress over the last couple of years. The most recent data point we have is only 32 vacancies out of over 6,000 classroom teacher positions. That's 0.5%. That's unheard of. All of our department directors are thinking, I wish I had that kind of vacancy rate in my department, right? Bus drivers. Remember the thing during the pandemic, bus drivers, and your kid couldn't get picked up from school, and the bus drivers weren't around, and they were all going to work for Amazon or something? Look at that. 93 out of 625 total positions vacant in 22. Goose egg, 2025, 0. Okay? 2 years in a row, 0. Guess what? A lot of hard work by the school system, but that took funding too. And so we're very proud of that in the county. All right, I know what you're thinking. Chris, stop talking about the past years. I want to know what's ahead. All right. So fiscal 27. Here's what I'm prepared to tell you. In the upcoming year, as we look in our budget crystal ball, property tax revenue is going to be pretty stable. There's a lot of reasons for that, but we feel good about that. Income tax revenue, it's solid right now. We do think that that's going to slow because there's a weakening job market and the economy is a little uncertain, as I mentioned before. But we think that even if there is a recession or there's a downturn, there's usually a lag, so we should be okay for the next year. Recordation and transfer is the taste of the real estate transactions that we get, and that revenue is just flat. We may not even quite achieve what our forecast was for this existing year, and the reason is because mortgage rates are still high. Nobody's refinancing or buying homes when they've got a 2% mortgage and current rates are 6%, right? Nothing we can do about that. We're just going to have to wait for the real estate market to recover. All right, so expenditures, where we spend our money. We've done a lot of great things for our employees. We've boosted wages, so that has also increased pension costs, so we have to keep in mind that. Debt service payments on all the capital projects we do, those are continuing to grow because we have grown our capital budget to do all the great projects that you guys come and tell us to do every year, right? And then we've added some operating costs from capital projects. For instance, if we have a new park, like Deal Park down the road, then Director Lays has to staff and take care of that park, so that adds operating costs. So we've brought some new facilities and are bringing some new parks and operations on board, so those are going to increase costs. So our expenditures are rising. There are 3 big external factors that kind of keep me up at night. The first is the status of our federal government, and they are defunding some grants that we're getting and threatening to get rid of departments and other assistance measures that haven't realized yet, but we're keeping an eye on. School enrollment is down, and that means that when enrollment is down, you get less assistance from the state. So right now, the numbers I'm hearing tossed around are we might get $30 million less in incremental funding from the state for the school system. And who do you think makes up the money that the state doesn't give? That falls to the county, right? So we may start on a lower level there. And then our friends at Indianapolis for the state legislature, if you read the papers, you hear that they are dealing with their own state budget deficit. And sometimes, if they need to balance their budget, they look to shift some expenditures down onto the counties. Delegate Stewart is here, and we can tell him that, please take it easy on us this year. But we have a good delegation, we have good partners, and we're all in this together. So hopefully they'll be able to close that state deficit and hold the counties relatively harmless. All right, so next we're going to do a little favorite exercise. The county executive loves this because he has to do this in real life in a few months. But basically, the budget office brings him a bunch of sheets of numbers and says, hey, this is how much everything is going to cost, and this is how much revenue we think we have. How do you want to spend it, boss? Right? That's pretty much how it goes. So we're going to all play along with this a little bit this year. At this moment in time, and you can see there's an asterisk there because numbers can change, we're looking at about $120 million of incremental revenue coming to the county. That's a pretty good year, okay? So we're doing okay. That's a pretty good year. But here's the not so fun part. You got to start ticking stuff off from there, right? So the top of this chart, we have listed some non-discretionary costs. These are things like debt service or pension contribution, got to pay for health insurance, got to pay for retiree health care, all those things that are non-negotiable, right? And then we've got some that we don't know yet, state budget cost shifts. We don't know. Last year it was about $12 million. This year maybe it's zero, maybe it's something in between, we're not sure. But right now, back of the envelope, we're thinking that might be about $40 million all told. So right off the bat, before we have any decisions to make, that 120 went down to 80 million. I know what you're thinking. Hey, that's still a lot of money. And it is. 80 million is a lot of money. But guess what? Goes quick. How quick? Well, that doesn't factor in the pay packages for our employees, and those are very important, right? So we got to fund those. Don't know how much those will be last year or this year. Last year, they were about $21 million. That was with a 3% cost of living adjustment. Inflation is down a little bit, so presumably that could be a little less, but we'll see what happens. But then you get into the bottom part of the chart, which is the adjustments and supplementals. And this is like the incremental funding for our library system, for our community college, for our departments, operational increases and things like that. But the big one that I've got circled there is Board of Ed incremental funding. So the board, the superintendent released his request recently, $100 million of county funding, $100 million. Remember I told you even before we did the employee pay packages, we only had 80. So we can't even think about paying the full request for the Board of Ed, and then we've got to factor in library, community college, departments, other things. So this makes it a prioritization exercise, and that's why it's so important that we have these so we can hear what's important for the community. So last year, just to kind of level set things, we gave $52 million of funding to the Board of Education of new funding. We'd love to be close to that again this year, but we'll see how things play out. So that's about it for me. I do want to remind you on the next slide, we have some great resources. You can go to Open Arundel and see all kinds of budget data. You can dig deep into the various departments and see how the money is spent on our Budget Buddy. We have the Budget Office page where you can look at current and past budget books. And then the Your Budget page shows information on these town halls. And the last slide, I think, will show you if you don't want to come up and speak, or you have a friend or a neighbor who couldn't come tonight, but they want to tell us about what's important to them, use this email. Everything is logged, everything is read, it's categorized, it's reported to the county exec and their team. So it's very important to get your feedback. So, hey, thanks for your attention. Great audience. Look forward to hearing your remarks, and I'm going to get out of your way and turn it back over to Stacey.
I missed the height requirement. for the public testimony portion of the evening, where we get a chance to hear from you. This is your chance to let county leaders know what you would like to be funded in the FY27 budget. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to give their testimony. You'll see a timer on the screen to help you keep track of your time. For the sake of time, the county executive and council member won't respond to every comment, but they are listening and taking notes. I will begin by calling the names of the people who signed up to speak when they checked in this evening, starting with the residents of District 7 and followed by everyone else who signed up to speak. I will call a few names at a time. When I call your name, please line up in that order behind this microphone on this side of the auditorium. After we've gotten through the list of people who signed up to speak, we will open the floor for anyone else who would like to share their budget requests. If we don't have time to hear from you tonight, or you think of something else you would like to share, please email your request to budgetcomments with a dash between @aacounty.org. So I'll now call on the first group. Please line up behind the microphone in order to speak. Furthermore, please speak directly into the microphone so that everyone can hear you clearly, and please state your name before you begin. All right. So I'm going to call up 5 at a time. First we have John Church, Julia Howes, Zoe Howes, Martin Simon, and Steve Bryan. Begin whenever you're ready, and we'll start the timer.
Good evening. My name is John Church, Colonel, U.S. Air Force Reserve retired, and former Chairman of the Veterans Affairs Commission, 2019 to 2023. Good evening, Mr. Pittman and Council Member Ledbetter. I wish to thank the County Executive and Council members for supporting military veterans in Anne Arundel County as follows. I thank Council Member Hummer, District 4, for introducing County Bill 97-25, which will change the name of the County Veterans Affairs Commission to the County Commission for Veterans and Military Families. This is scheduled for a vote, I believe, on 20th of January. This legislation and name change fit a broadened scope of support to the veteran community by including military families. And this legislation reflects focused efforts by the Veterans Affairs Commission, especially member Deborah Lucetti Myers, a longtime member of the Commission. Thanks to the County Executive and Council members for planning to conclude a Veterans and Family Clinic in the Meyer Building when the master plan is implemented for the Crownsville Hospital Memorial Park. In 2019, the Veterans Affairs Commission recommended Mr. Pittman establish a Center for Veterans, concrete and mortar, a single stop for guidance and support. Mr. Dan Tootle quickly developed and shared an extensive organization plan, which was not adopted. We tried to find a building for the center, but the county could not afford that. I wish to recommend that in view of his strategic thinking, that County Council name the future building, if it in fact happens, in honor of Mr. Dan Tootle, Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy retired, and long-term resident of Savannah Park. Thank you.
Good evening, Executive Pittman, Councilwoman Ledbetter. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Julia Howes, and I'm here tonight as a parent, a community member, a business owner, and someone who has vested my time, my energy, my heart into District 7. I'm proud of where we live, and I believe that Anne Arundel County can continue to grow in a way that is fair, forward-thinking, and truly equitable for every student in every neighborhood. As you consider funding for 27 priorities, I am asking you to focus on the long-term needs of our district, not temporary fixes, and to ensure District 7 receives the same level of commitment that other parts of this county already enjoy. First, I'm asking for support of the CASE Agriculture Education Program expansion at Southern High School, so that students across the county can have equitable access to this incredible opportunity. This program preparing students for careers in agriculture, environmental science, and skilled industries fields that are essential to Maryland's future. Right now, access is limited. Funding expanding CASE Ag isn't good for Southern students, it's good for the whole county, and it's a smart workforce investment. Second, we need to talk about the condition of this school here, Southern High School. Southern opened in 1968 and has had no substantial infrastructure upgrades. The current proposal includes $7.5 million in fiscal 27 for systemic renovations and another $50 million over the next 2 years. Let me make this clear. These improvements are necessary, but they are not the solution. Building is a Band-Aid. We should not be pouring tens of millions into a structure that won't meet modern educational standards. Third, I'm asking for you to work with our partners at Anne Arundel County Public Schools, along with state legislators and even our federal congressmen, to ensure Southern becomes an equitable school within our system. It isn't just my opinion. Southern has gained attention from leaders across the board. Board member Robert Silkworth, student board member Braden Morgan, and Vice President Dawn Pulliam, who recognize that we in District 7 have been saying for years, Southern needs a new school, not another round of renovation. I'm asking you to listen to that consistent consensus and act on it. In closing, District 7 is not asking for special treatment. We're asking for equal treatment. We're asking for investments that match our needs, honors our students, and reflects the values of this county: opportunity, fairness, and progress. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing District 7 prioritized in the 27 budget in a way that is meaningful and lasting. Thank you.
County Executive Pittman and County Council Member Shannon Ledbetter, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I am Zoe Howes, a sophomore at Southern High School, and I currently serve as a Southern FFA chapter reporter. I am truly grateful for the County Executive and County Council's prior investment in the Case Ag Science program at Southern High School. Thanks to that funding, we have been able to attend the Maryland Farm Bureau Next Gen Conference. We had such a good time learning and extending our knowledge about ag education. We became friends with the Maryland Department of Agriculture Secretary Kevin Addix. We met with various other cabinet leaders from MSDE, Department of Labor, Department of Transportation, asking hard questions. We met the next generation of Maryland farmers and ranchers. To build on this success, I strongly encourage you and the council to maintain and increase funding for the Case Ag Science program. Expansion of the program would allow us to serve hundreds more students currently without access, particularly in communities that do not have direct access to farmers. And AACO Agriculture Industries providing greater programs equity district-wide. Your continued support will help ensure every student has the chance to thrive. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ledbetter, County Executive Pittman, good evening and Happy New Year to you both. As you know, I'm Martin Simon, the Town Manager in Crofton, and I'm joined here this evening by our CCA Board President, Ann O'Kelly, and another of our board members, Chuck Cook, back here, along with a pretty good handful of Crofton residents who I know are in support of what I'm about to talk about here. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the idea for extending the sidewalk along Route 424 from Staples Corner down to Bell Branch Park. Last year, we asked you to work with SHA to commence a study to evaluate the feasibility, costs, and impacts of such a project. And in December, we received word from DPW that that study, number H563716, was indeed underway. I was told just today by the project manager that the study should be completed by the end of June this year. So again, thank you. That is a critical first step in the process. Tonight, we would like to ask you for your continued support of this idea by including in your FY27 budget such sums required to move forward with whatever best outcome that study recommends, be it a simple sidewalk extension or an expanded shared use path, as was the original idea in your bicycle and pedestrian master plan several years ago. Either way, the goal is to enable walkers and rollers safe passage to this very popular park from our neighborhoods on both sides of Davidsonville Road. Doing so would likely help alleviate some of the daily vehicular congestion in that area as well, along with promoting healthier lifestyles for our residents. We remain ready and willing to help you in any way we can to make this much needed transportation alternative a reality. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Steve Bryan. I'm from Deal, Maryland, and I play pickleball. Don't hate. With over 1,100 other enthusiastic pickleball players in South County alone. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening about the lack of quality outdoor facilities in southern Anne Arundel County. Our town of Deal is currently watching a $6.5 million investment in the new Deal Community Park inch its way to completion. What is infuriating for all of us is that during the initial planning meetings for the new park, the drawing showed 2 to 3 pickleball courts to be installed. We were ecstatic, only to learn that during a later stakeholder meeting, these courts were removed with no notice or opportunity for public input on this decision. Removing these courts from the New Deal Park was a great disservice to us. It made no sense. It felt like a backroom deal had occurred. While I'm happy that the families with young children now have a pavilion and a playground, I must ask what the rationale was using this land for dog walking parks. We're not living in Manhattan. This New Deal Community Park really missed the mark in providing facilities for an active and growing pickleball community who seeks nothing but socializing and exercising. This demographic of active voters pay a majority of taxes. One solution would be to convert the dramatically underused tennis courts at the Deal Library, used only 3 mornings a week, into 4 blended pickleball courts, which will allow us to use both sports, tennis and pickleball. In addition to providing a place to play pickleball, this will also generate revenue for local establishments, many that are within walking distance, and it's a win for our entire community. Coming up in 2026, Anne Arundel County is already seeing major capital projects for pickleball in Lake Waterford and Peninsula Park areas. Please, please do not overlook Deal again. We are worthy of the same facilities. Help us to bring pickleball home to Deal. Thank you very much.
Our next 5 individuals are Michael Shearer, Kendra Smith, Laura Collins, Don Bailey, and Bill Sherbo.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Shire with the Anne Arundel County Fraternal Order of Police. I've been coming to pretty much every one of these town halls, as the county executive knows. I'm joined here tonight by my firefighter friends. Our biggest issue is, and always has been, staffing. And I need to correct or clarify some of the things that Chris said tonight. You saw that there were this dramatic supposed increase in our police staffing. That was on the heels of your predecessor, sir, and due to a 2-year contract that he extended us. And I'm no fan of his, but the truth is the truth. That increase happened at the beginning of your administration, and since then we have gone down in staffing. Right? The past 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, we have fewer police officers, line-level officers, working the street right now than we did 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and 5 years ago as of today. The 4.7% deficit, that's because you haven't increased our staffing levels to where they should be, our authorized staffing levels. They're stuck at about 809. And legitimately, you've told us, why increase the staffing levels when we can't hire? We should be at 1,200 officers. We're at 809. That's not a 4.7% deficit. It's a 30% deficit. And over this time frame, our responsibilities have gone through the roof. The pressures, both legal, physical, and mental, on our police officers have skyrocketed. We're about to switch to 12-hour shifts from 8-hour shifts because our chief has been brave and has said, we have a staffing problem that goes back some 20 years. We need to do something. Okay, we can't leave the citizens of Anne Arundel County unsafe with officers who are being held over on overtime, working 12-hour shifts anyway. So this is a crisis level mode. We've been in it for a while, and it hasn't been fixed. This is your last budget. Please, 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 please put a legitimate effort into fixing the problems of our public safety staffing. Thank you.
Good evening, Councilmember Ledbetter and County Executive Pittman. My name is Kendra Smith. I'm here as a resident of District 7 and also as president of the Muddy Creek Artists Guild. I represent visual artists who live and work in southern Anne Arundel County. With rising commercial real estate costs and shortages of space large enough to host studios and art shows, we are facing a challenge that will affect our future ability to continue providing and supporting art in South County. You have many important interests represented in this room tonight, and numerous important projects to consider in fiscal year 27. As you put together this budget, I ask that you not lose sight of the value of visual and performing arts in maintaining the cultural traditions of Southern Anne Arundel County. South County needs a permanent, multi-use public community facility. This is not just about artists. A public community center would support exhibitions, performances, classes, nonprofit organization events, and community gatherings. It could serve as the hub for creativity, community engagement, and economic development in District 7. You are aware that the property known as Discovery Village is for sale. This is a concrete solution that addresses the aforementioned community needs while also keeping public voting access open to all. You have an active and dedicated constituency in District 7 who are invested in making this plan work. Please do not let this opportunity slip away. Include support for a South County Cultural Center in the fiscal year 27 budget. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Laura Collins. Stuart, thank you for being here tonight, both of you. You already know what I have talked about. I sent you a letter asking for exactly what Kendra was talking about. Discovery Village has a building on it that is renovatable and is sitting ready to be purchased by somebody. So I urge you to reconsider purchasing that property, but then the Arts Lab and all the artists that live down here in South County can continue to foster the creative growth that is already happening here. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Don Bailey. I'm the president of the Friends of Historic Johns Hopkins House in Anne Arundel County. I am here to ask Anne Arundel County to purchase Whites Hall, the birthplace and childhood home of Johns Hopkins. The General Development Plan for 2040 includes a goal to protect and preserve the significant historic and archaeological resources and cultural heritage of the county, and to promote public awareness of the county's history and the stewardship of historic assets. This certainly applies to Whites Hall. In addition, the Region 5 plan has a specific strategy, BE2, that states the county should protect Whites Hall and consider options for programming, such as rehabilitating the structures for community space and a neighborhood park that reflects the history of the site. This is exactly what we'd like to do with your support. In addition to the saving and restoring of the house for community use, we will develop the green space, 13 plus acres of land with mature growth trees. Plan 240, goal number NE2, states that the county will retain existing forest cover, increase forest replanting efforts, and increase urban tree canopy. We will maintain the existing trees and add a variety of new trees to the property, which will lead to arboretum status and a certification as a wildlife habitat. Plan 2040, goal BE2, says that they will preserve the agriculture and rural character of the county. After 196 years of tobacco farming, the Stewart Fruit Company bought the property and developed a farm that became part of the truck farming era in the county. We would celebrate this by reestablishing a small orchard and kitchen gardens that will help us to educate and feed county residents. Eventually, we would add playground equipment and small vignettes to showcase various aspects of the property to increase public use and appreciation of the green space. Whites Hall must be saved, and it sounds like the county already has a plan to do that. This green space is one of the last remaining ones in the Crofton area. We ask that you save this property. Thank you.
Executive Pittman and Councilwoman Ledbetter, thanks for your time. Thanks for these things. I'm Bill Sherbo, District 7, live in Shadyside, and I'm representing the voices of the commercial fishing industry in District 7. I'm going to frame my statement as a rebuttal to your opening statement, where you mentioned values and strategy. You mentioned the agriculture part, which we know is near and dear to your heart, but you failed to mention the commercial fishing industry, whether it's recreational or commercial, in this part of the county. And you can get on up to Bodkins and up to Pasadena if you want, but I'm talking about the District 7. And your values, nothing wrong with those, but don't forget commercial fishing. Your strategy is where I'm going to bring in something that we've spoken about before, and that's Discovery Village. Your strategy moving forward with Discovery Village was just kicking the can down the road. From what I understand, you put more money into the place as far as paving the parking lot and keeping the grounds up to date. But somebody could roll in there tonight or tomorrow and buy the place right out from under us. So we put money, good money, into something that we could lose tomorrow. And that is a poor strategy for taking care of the commercial fishing industry, which uses the boat ramp. And also, your strategy of saying, looking around, and you're going to find some other strategies as far as other marinas. It's not going to happen. We've already been down that road. So I urge you to take care of the Discovery Village the proper way by purchasing it and moving forward. Thank you.
Our next 5 speakers are Abby Chen, Elizabeth Ruddy, Madeline Payne, Roger McGraw, and Kevin Caton.
Good afternoon. My name is Abby Chan, and I'm a Crofton resident and a student member of the library's Board of Trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to ask for your support for the library's supplemental budget request, specifically salary increases in 4 key operational positions. Libraries aren't just about books. They're also the heartbeat of our community. For students like me, the library is a lifeline. It's where we can get homework help, tutoring, Wi-Fi, and a quiet place to focus. It's also where we can meet other teens, build friendships, and take part in the many emerging activities that the library offers. Last year alone, I spent weeks at the Crofton Library preparing for AP exams, and the staff have helped me find the study materials I needed to succeed. For job seekers, the library is where resumes are polished and new skills are learned. For seniors and families, it's a trusted place to connect, ask questions, and receive guidance. ACPL's mission is to build stronger communities, and the library fulfills that mission every single day. Through programs, services, and one-on-one support that strengthen both people and neighborhoods. The library staff in particular make an extraordinary difference. The Crofton Library Patreon recently shared that staff have helped to print important documents and even provided clothing for a court appearance. Stories like this happen every day because of the staff's dedication and compassion. Over the last 4 years, library visits have increased nearly 30% and checkouts are up by 17%, even in a world dominated by digital media. That growth shows just how much our community continues to rely on the library. To keep up with this demand, we need funding for essential behind-the-scenes positions, such as materials, management, human resources, and maintenance. These roles ensure that books are available, staff are supported, and buildings continue to remain safe and welcoming for all. By approving the 3% merit increase in the cost of living adjustment in our first collective bargaining agreement, it would honor the staff who make all of this possible. Investing in our libraries means investing in education, workforce readiness, equity, and strong connected communities. And when we support our libraries and the people who power them, we strengthen the entire county. Thank you, and thank you to County Executive Pittman and Councilwoman Ledbetter for the continued support of our libraries.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Ruddy. I am a resident of Crofton. My son Owen's a junior at Crofton High. My daughter Shannon is in 8th grade at Crofton Middle. And I recently started my dream job as a 6th grade teacher at Crofton Middle. It's a dream because I love math and I love my 3-minute commute. This is my 19th year as a teacher in the county, 24th year overall, and I'm here to advocate that you fully fund Dr. Bedell's budget and follow his lead to prioritize the people in our school buildings in the coming school year. When I think of the needs of our school system, I can't help but be drawn towards the needs of our elementary schools. Although I'm currently a middle school teacher, I spent my first 2 decades working in elementary schools. Being an educator in elementary school is about as close to as an impossible job as you can ask someone to have. One person must teach and differentiate for a range of students, a minimum of 4 subjects a day. A teacher must plan small group instruction in each of these 4 subjects for on-level, advanced, and special education students. Then throw on top of that, the behaviors have become more destructive and aggressive, the needs more diverse of our youngest and most vulnerable students. It's essential that there is a strong network of educators and support personnel in each and every school building. But most importantly, please ensure that the $500,000 that's there to increase the pay for our temporary support staff in the classrooms is included in that budget, so we can recruit and retain them to meet the needs of our students and help reduce the workload of our teachers. So I hope that you will be able to see the importance and the urgency of fully funding Dr. Goodell's budget. Thank you.
Greetings, Executive Pittman and Councilwoman Ledbetter. My name is Madeline Payne, and I represent many of the residents of Crofton. First, I want to thank you and your staff for all of your hard work and support for repairing all of the potholes on I-97. I am requesting a resurfacing of Route 3 North and South in Crofton, Maryland at the intersection of Cronson and Crawford Boulevards. This request also includes the concrete and asphalt sections as you make the U-turn to Route 3 North. Since 2022, I have been submitting tickets to the State Highway Administration about this request. Several times I was told that it was being considered or in the budget. The last response I received advised it is due to be repaired this spring. I'm hoping that this project will not be pushed back again, as I have seen resurfacing projects completed in 2 other areas around our county, such as Veterans Highway and Route 100 ramp going towards Glen Burnie. The concrete has split in the seams and has become very choppy, and the far left lane is sinking. This has become a safety issue because I've seen cars move close to the middle lane to avoid the sinking pavement. When I stood before you on February the 14th, 2024 regarding this request, I had hoped it would be included in the last 2 budgets. As a proud daughter of an auto mechanic, I know about the long-term effects of rough highways and how they can affect our vehicular repair and maintenance bills, as well as our overall safety. So I appreciate any effort you can make to resolve this issue more quickly. Thank you again for your service.
Good evening. My name is Roger McGraw. I own R.A. McGraw LLC, a design and construction company, and I'm a longtime resident of Anne Arundel County. I had the recent privilege of working on the current restoration project at Mount Vernon, the home of the first U.S. president, and I'm currently restoring old historic homes and businesses in the District of Columbia and elsewhere in the DMV. Through my work, I've learned to appreciate the importance of preserving history. Mr. Pittman, as one of the owners of the historic Doden Farm, I believe you share my regard. Your farm, like Hopkins House, is also an irreplaceable piece of Anne Arundel County history. And as one of the caretakers of your ancestral home, I believe you know what that entails. Hopkins House merits special attention not only for being the birthplace and childhood home of the hero of medicine, Johns Hopkins, it has its own history. It stood during the founding of our nation, was once a part of the agrarian economy of the South as a working tobacco plantation, and of Maryland as a border state during the Civil War. While there's not time here to enumerate the life, philanthropy, and contributions to medicine of Johns Hopkins, that narrative is what's most important in the purchase of the estate. Once purchased, that will be one of our goals. This is a golden opportunity to secure its place in history and to ensure that it remains for future generations to appreciate and enjoy. If sold to private interest, an important part of Anne Arundel County history or heritage may be lost forever. County Executive Pittman, please do your part to secure funding for the purchase and restoration of Hopkins House, and let Friends of Hopkins House partner with Anne Arundel County as caretakers of this important site so future generations can learn from its rich history. This is an exciting project that we can all take pride in and pursue with enthusiasm. Please do your part to make this happen. Thank you.
Good evening, County Executive Pittman, Councilwoman Ledbetter. My name is Kevin Caton. I'm a senior at Southern High School's Case Agri-Science program and the president of the Southern FFA chapter. I want to begin by sincerely thanking the Council for the funding you've provided to our program. Because of this support, 4 students, including myself, had the opportunity to travel to Indiana to represent Maryland in the National FFA Meets Evaluation and Technology Career Development event. Through this experience, I applied classroom instruction in a real-world setting by evaluating meat quality and identifying cuts. Competing at the national level strengthened my critical thinking skills and my understanding of food quality and safety standards, a field I plan to study in college. Additionally, through the CASE program, I have gained hands-on experience working with our brand new hydroponic systems, where I learned how to monitor nutrient solutions, manage plant growth, and troubleshoot system challenges. These systems allow students to apply science and technology in a controlled, real-world environment. As a student, I have benefited greatly from these opportunities. However, we continue to hear the stories from students who are eager to join the CASE program at Southern, but are restricted due to 5 numbers. I respectfully ask that you continue funding for the CASE Agri-Science program and support its future expansion in the budget. Doing so will allow more students across the county to access these life-changing experiences and prepare them for skills for real-world careers. Thank you for your time in prioritizing agriculture education.
Our next 5 are Claire Ogilvie, Madison Sutherland, Jacqueline Harnack, Daniel Weiner, and Marianne de Moreau.
Good evening, County Executive Mr. Pittman and Councilmember Shannon Ledbetter. My name is Claire Ogilvie, and I'm here as a student of the Southern High School's Case Ag-Science program and secretary of the Southern FFA chapter. I first want to start off by expressing our appreciation for the funding the Council has allotted for our program. This has allowed us to send 24 members to the Maryland FFA Regional Leadership Conference on November 12th at the Howard County Fairgrounds. The Maryland FFA Regional Leadership Conference is designed to help FFA members develop leadership, communication, and teamwork skills while connecting with members from across the region. While we were there, Maryland State FFA officers facilitated workshops. One focused on table etiquette, where members learned proper manners for formal meals, including how to use utensils correctly and practice respectful behavior at the table. Another workshop was about dressing appropriately for an event, emphasizing professional appearance, correct FFA dress, and how dressing well respects oneself and the organization. The final workshop focused on being a friend, teaching members the importance of kindness, teamwork, and supporting others. Together, these workshops help members develop important life and leadership skills, which can be both used in FFA events and everyday situations. Yet we hear students who would love to attend Southern just to be a part of the CASE program. Many talented and interested students are unable to participate because of their zip code. Please continue funding the CASE Ag-Science program at Southern High School and approve the future expansion in the budget. This will open doors for additional students across the district, giving more children the transformation experience they deserve. Thank you for listening and prioritizing agriculture education. Good evening, Executive Pittman and County Council Member Shannon Ledbetter. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm Madison Sutherland, a junior at Southern High School and currently serving as a Southern FFA Sentinel. I'm truly grateful for the county executives and county council's prior investment in the CASE Ag-Science program at Southern High School. Thanks to that funding, our officer team was able to attend the chapter officer leadership training coordinated by the Southern Maryland FFA State Officer Team. Through your generosity, we had the chance to learn from the State Officer Team about teamwork, communication, professionalism on social media, and facing our fears. To build on this success, I encourage you and the Council
to maintain and increase funding for the Case Ag Science program. Expansion of the program will allow us to serve hundreds more students currently without access, particularly in communities that do not have direct access to farmers and Anne Arundel County agriculture industry, providing greater program equity district-wide. Your continued support will help ensure every student gets a chance to thrive. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Daniel Wayner. I am a recently retired emergency physician who lives in Churchton, right next to the deal. And I've been playing pickleball for the past 2 years. And I'm here in support of more pickleball courts. Once popular only among middle-aged and older adults, now younger people are embracing it. Participation has increased over 300% in the years from 2021 to 2023. And now there are believed to be over 20 million pickleball players in the United States. Pickleball has become so popular in our area that court times have long waiting lists, sometimes 15, 20 people waiting to play, and they don't get to play. Team Reach, the app that we use to schedule court time, has over 1,100 users. Despite pickleball's rapidly growing popularity, we have very limited court options in southern Anne Arundel County. We have 2 indoor courts at South County Rec Center and 6 outdoor courts next to the Carrie Wheaton Center in Galesville. We have none in the Greater Deal area. While the outdoor courts in Galesville are quite nice, they're owned and managed by the Board of Education, which can limit our ability to play due to school schedules, and they prohibit pickleball players from parking in the Carrie Wheaton Center parking lot, so we have to walk across the road to play. In addition, the courts are not lighted, which limits our ability to play during off hours. We are proposing and requesting a dedicated community-owned facility managed by Anne Arundel County Recreation and Parks, which hopefully would allow for more dedicated pickleball courts, dedicated parking, professional LED lighting so that we can play at night and in the morning, and permanent bathrooms and shaded area for player comfort. Approximately 1 in 10 American adults currently play pickleball, and this number is expected to continue to increase. We urge the council to approve the budget for new dedicated pickleball courts, preferably in Galesville and Deal, under the Department of Recreation and Parks, so that we no longer must park on the street and instead have a permanent home for our health, fitness, family, and our future. Please join us in helping make this vision a reality. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Demerin, before you turn the timer on. I'm joining with my husband, who is also registered to speak, so we will take less than 3 minutes between the two of us. Louie and I are volunteer tutors at a local elementary school. We have been since we moved to Churchton 4 years ago. From the first day that ICE showed up in our county, we see a clear before and after demarcation in the level of emotional dysregulation and learning difficulties in these students that we've been talking about so much today. We see unsustainable levels of stress in the dedicated teachers, staff, and the principal. Here's what haunts us. Kids who are afraid to come to school. They're missing learning that will set them back for the rest of their lives. Rampant food insecurity and homelessness because hardworking people have been rounded up or are afraid to go to work. Kids who are missing the basics like warm coats, hats, gloves, and even pajamas that fit them. Second graders having to take care of babies. I don't even know what to say about that. I can tell you without reservation, the need for the Family Assistance Initiative is exponentially more necessary, complex, and urgent than it was a year ago. The budget of $1 million to fund the initiative is the minimum the Office of Multicultural Affairs needs to serve our community. The services OMA provides are essential. Look, as a community, my neighbors and I, many of whom are here, have gathered donations of clothing, food, and other material goods to fill in some gaps, as we should and as we will keep doing. But we're just individual citizens. We don't have the resources or the contacts or the expertise or the culture fluency to be able to help in the more fundamental ways these families so desperately need. But the Family Assistance Initiative does. What they also have is not enough funding to do the job they are urgently called to do. That's why this $1 million allocation is so critical. We know that as a county executive, you have backed up your mission to make Anne Arundel a place where everyone can thrive. We thank you for that. We also know you have a lot of tough choices to make. None is more urgent or more needed. We count on your full support.
Good evening, my name is Jacqueline Hartnack. Tonight, many of us are here in hopes that the Family Assistance Initiative budget will increase to the desperately needed $1 million that will help support families, businesses, and, of course, individuals, while also knowing that this investment will benefit Anne Arundel County. I have been in the green landscape industry in this county for 30+ years and have been proud to establish long-lasting friendships and working relationships with many immigrants from south of the U.S. border. Fleeing economic devastation from the U.S. involvement in support of a civil war and fears of rampant gang violence, these immigrants were seeking safe homes and employment for their families. Due to the extreme increase of people being taken into custody in 2025, the need for family, business, and community support is crucial. An example of the services a family needs that a coworker of mine who was taken into custody by ICE without a warrant on private property while simply doing his job. He owns a home, pays his taxes with no criminal record. When taken out of state, his family's hardship was overwhelming. His oldest daughter needs constant medical care with feeding, mobilization, and special transportation. While my co-worker was in custody, his family needed to be able to continue her intensive care without the father's income and support. There are unfortunately thousands of people affected by unlawful ICE captivity in Anne Arundel County. While attempting to restore those who have been taken to their families and to their employers, they need our full support financially and personally. The need for the $1 million budget is an excellent investment for Anne Arundel County for these law-abiding residents.
Our next five are Jane Beer, Tim Williams, Brian Dake, Russell Robinson, and Matt Johnson.
I'm here tonight because I also believe that government matters and that we need to prioritize opportunities for those who have too often been left behind. We've already heard tonight about the horrors that affect families who have been scooped up and taken away out of the country, out of the county, out of the state by a system that relies on obfuscation and cruelty. I am here to support $1 million in funding for the Family Assistance Initiative, but I want to talk about how this initiative doesn't just help those families, it helps the teachers who are trying to educate those students who are missing or who come back, or who an entire constellation of classrooms where those students are all disrupted. The employers, the small business owners who can't do their work because they don't have people to do it. We're in an agricultural area. There are not enough workers. We are in an area that relies on tourism. There are not enough kitchen workers. And when we can help the families directly impacted, we help the entire community. There's the saying, whosoever helps the least of these, who helps my brothers and sisters, helps me too. I believe that, and I know you do. You've proven over 7 years. You funded them fully last year. Ms. Ledbetter, you voted for this fully, $300,000 last year when we were just speculating what the need would be. We now know the need is exponentially more. Please give them the full funding that they're asking for. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Williams. I live in Edgewater. I'm here tonight in my role as the treasurer for the Anne Arundel County Public Library Foundation. I'm also a grandfather of 6, including 4 preschoolers. I spent most of today with the 4 preschoolers, so if I look a little rough, that's why. I'm lucky enough to live about a 5-minute walk from the Edgewater Library, so I've been a customer there the whole time that the Edgewater Library has stood where it is. My kids, when they were in school, were regulars. My grandchildren are regulars now because of where I live and because of where my grandchildren live. Sometimes in a week we might cross the threshold of 3 different library branches. They're all special. I want to talk tonight about, of course, Edgewater, Crofton, and Deal. It's been mentioned before, but for many families, this is a place where their children feel the first sense of belonging outside of their own home. It's a place that is welcoming and safe. As they grow, it's a place as students where they can get help succeeding. As adults, they can get help finding a job and access to technology. In those 3 libraries in District 7, Crofton, Deal, and Edgewater, they tell me that we had 261,000 unique visits in fiscal year 2025, and something like 750,000 items circulated. Those are just amazing numbers. As a volunteer, I've learned that all these programs and activities that bring people into the library are made possible by the talented professional staff that we have. We're very grateful for them, and we want to keep them and reward them fairly. So I understand that in the incremental request, there's a request that the county fully fund the first ever negotiated collective bargaining agreement between the library and its employees. There's also a request for support for some so-called back-of-the-house positions. You know this not only with the library, but in other units of government. Those back-of-the-house positions, maintenance and circulation and things like that, are what make the wheels turn. So we hope you'll consider those things. And thank you, County Executive and Councilmember Ledbetter, for your support of our library system. Thank you.
Does this go up any higher? No, I'm okay. You know what? It's technical. It's really not that big a deal. I'm not going to be singing for long. Thank you, County Executive Pittman, County Councilmember Ledbetter, for doing this. This is your first one, so I have done this many times on behalf of the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. My name is Brian Degg. I am a proud member of District 7, live right here in Edgewater for the past 17 years. I'm also the board chair for the food bank, and I've been involved with the food bank as a board member for the past 7 years. I want to thank you for your continued financial support of our organization, and I'm here tonight to request that $2 million be baked into the pie for FY27 for the food bank. In my time on the board, I've learned that the need never stops. And when my colleagues and I volunteer on the sorting lines every holiday, for those who I work with who aren't familiar with the food bank, they're like, oh my God, look at all this food. And then it's gone, and then it comes back. And they're just amazed by that. I'm blessed to be able to give my time, energy, and expertise to this organization. And I do see firsthand the work that's being done to help our neighbors in need. We purchase over 55% of the 4.5 million pounds of food and supplies that we distribute free of charge. So the funding is very, very critical to us. Chris Tronbauer spoke about the concerns he has with federal cuts. We are not immune to that, and something we're watching very closely. The funds we receive directly impact the community in a meaningful way. In closing, thank you again for your continued support of the food bank, and please include $2 million in the 2027 budget so we can continue this good work. Thank you.
Good evening, Council Member Ledbetter and
Stewie. My name is Russell Robinson. I live in Shadyside. I'm a retired sheet metal worker. I've lived down here 33 years. I love this place. I don't have any children, but this place here is built in '68. I was built in '65, so it's 60 years. You can do the math. I understand they were trying to upgrade the mechanical systems in here. If you're going to do that as a skilled building tradesman, I've done this before, it needs to be done in conjunction with architecture. Don't put the cart in front of the horse. You make the mechanical, the architectural. But then again, one of the previous speakers mentioned a new facility. So that's good too. That's what they knew to do, build a new building and then demolish this one. Either way, I support, even with no children, I support education. And the other thing would be the animal control in Millersville. I mean, these guys, they do the best they can with what they've got. There's a nice facility where the CSI crime lab or whatever, really cool. It'd be nice if it was animal control, because you can imagine what they could do if they had better facilities. And in closing, I just want to say, I think you guys are doing a good job, and go Dogs.
Councilwoman, County Executive, my name is Matt Johnston. I live on the Mayo Peninsula, and I've spent years fighting for Glebe Heights and many other open space parcels across this county. And I came here in part tonight to represent myself and to say thank you and to break the news to this crowd about Glebe Heights. But you wisely, got us all excited at the beginning of tonight and told us that great news. But you heard tonight about a couple more properties. And so I also have an ask for you. The leadership that you showed on the council and from the county executive's office to purchase Glebe Heights and continue to do this conservation was only made possible because in previous fiscal years you have put money towards conservation efforts in the Advanced Land Acquisition Fund, in the Forest Conservation Fund, in the Program Open Space Fund, and you funded Miss Jessica Lay's great projects at a lot of our parks. So to make it possible whenever the market is right for these parcels to protect in the future, I can dance if you want me to, it's fine. I just encourage you to level fund those land conservation efforts so that when these parcels come up, you have the money and you don't have to go borrowing from somewhere else. Thank you very much.
Our next 5 speakers are Sherry Schiller, Allison Bullock, Bridget Bloomer, Susan Youngs, and Kristen DeMarco.
Good evening, Council Member Ledbetter and County Executive. I'm Sherry Schiller. I'm a resident of this district and a board member of Annapolis Immigration Justice Network. I'm testifying in favor of the county's continued funding to support immigrant children and families in Anne Arundel County through the Legal and Wraparound Services Program with the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. Most of the children and youth helped through this program had been abused, abandoned, and neglected. Many are unaccompanied minors who came here alone. Some are survivors of human trafficking, but they're all vulnerable and need attorneys. These children and youth are eligible for legal relief, but simply cannot afford an attorney. Unlike the criminal court system, the immigration system does not provide court-appointed attorneys for people who cannot afford one. This means that children must go before a judge alone. Thanks to the Legal and Wraparound Services Program, however, AIJN is making sure that isn't the case for children in Anne Arundel County. Like AIJN clients Julio and Juan, 5-year-old twins who now have a quality immigration attorney. This work changes lives and strengthens our community. Please continue to support in 2027 the Legal and Wraparound Services Program with the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families.
Good evening, County Executive Stuart Pittman and County Councilwoman Shannon Ledbetter. My name is Allison Bullock, and I am a student at Southern High School. In addition to being a student, I am a farmer and small business owner, and I proudly serve as the treasurer of our Southern FFA chapter and the vice president of the Maryland 4-H State Council. First, I would like to sincerely thank the County Executive and County Council for the funding provided to the CASE Ag Science program in last year's budget. This support has allowed students enrolled in the program to have unique learning experiences and opportunities that many students outside the program would never receive. As a student enrolled in the Southern FFA program, I have participated in hands-on agricultural education experiences that extend far beyond the classroom. Through FFA, I have raised and shown cattle and sheep, and I own and operate a small dairy goat operation. These experiences have taught me real-world skills in animal husbandry, genetics, nutrition, record-keeping, and business management. In addition, I've attended public events and professional training sessions that have strengthened my public speaking skills, expanded my professional network, and increased my knowledge of the agricultural industry. Because of the skills I've developed through this program, I was offered a full-time position as a barnyard operations supervisor at Homestead Gardens. Before graduating high school, in this role, my livestock knowledge and communication skills and agricultural management experiences are highly valued. Skills I've gained directly through my involvement in FFA and agricultural education. These experiences have made a real difference in not only in my life, but also in the lives of many of my classmates. However, there is still an unmet need in our district. Many students want to attend Southern High School specifically to participate in this program and gain critical agricultural education. Thank you.
Good evening, County Executive Pittman, County Councilmember Ledbetter, and our local community. My name is Bridget Bloomer, and I'm the branch manager of the Deal Library, one of 3 libraries in District 7, along with the Crofton and Edgewater branches. Every library in our district is dedicated to empowering residents in our community. In just the past few weeks, at my branch, we have hosted a Medicare 101 event, brought library resources to a mobile food pantry distribution, and provided social worker services in the library. We've continued promoting kindergarten readiness to over 250 people with a story time at the local Deal Crab Basket tree lighting. Our customers truly value the services we provide. One customer expressed that Anne Arundel County libraries are important to the intellectual health of the community. Meaningful interactions like these happen every day across our library system, showing the essential role libraries play in strengthening our communities. Libraries are needed now more than ever, and it's because of the people who make them run, our dedicated library staff. To continue providing the high-quality services our community relies on, we respectfully ask the county to honor the recent collective bargaining agreement by funding the 3% merit increase and 3% cost of living adjustment to library staff. In addition, I want to thank the County Council for their funding and contributions to the Deal Library feasibility study for exploring the opportunity to expand our well-loved library. We ask that this expansion be funded so the Deal Library can continue to serve and thrive in the abundantly growing South County community and to be the community center that South County deserves. Thank you for your consideration in funding these requests. And finally, I want to express my gratitude to the County Council for their continued support of our libraries, including the market rate adjustments over the past 2 years. Thank you, everyone, for your time and support.
My name is Susan Youngs. I live in Annapolis and volunteer at Animal Services.
With the completion of the facility assessment report of the current animal services building in Millersville, and as the county moves forward with the task of locating, planning, and constructing a new shelter, I want to go on record that the new facility must be state-of-the-art and that it must embed an architectural firm whose expertise is in design and construction of specifically animal shelters. For example, RADA Architects designed multiple facilities for the National Best Friends Animal Society. ShelterPlanners.com designed animal shelters in Virginia and North Carolina. Barks in Baltimore City and the new Prince George's County Shelter in Upper Marlboro are new state-of-the-art facilities right here in Maryland. Currently, Animal Services needs an adoption and special events coordinator. This may sound superfluous, but both services are vital to the shelter's mission of getting homeless pets in safe, permanent, and loving homes. Many adopters have questions about their new pet, but don't know who to turn to for help. Sadly, this could land an animal back at Animal Services just due to lack of communication. Personal follow-up is integral to a successful adoption. Taking adoptable animals to sponsored events away from the shelter requires coordination, but it's important and can be very successful, resulting in many adoptions. Currently, our volunteer foster coordinator is doing her work, plus trying to do this unfilled position. It is not possible, and it is not fair to her and the animals. Adding this position will make a huge difference for the animals and the people who care for them. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Kristen DeMarco. I am the Executive Director at Historic London Town and Gardens. I have recently been appointed this position in July, but have been with Historic London Town and Gardens for 5 years now. So thank you so much for hosting these town hall meetings. I know it's a late date and late night for all of you, and we appreciate your time and support. The reason I'm here tonight is because we're seeing the effects of age and heavy public use across our National Historic Landmark site. Several county-owned buildings are aging rapidly. Our visitor center exhibits and restrooms need major TLC. 2 of our 3 historic staircases are no longer usable. Interpretive structures like the tenement and carpenter shop, which see thousands and thousands of children each year, require major upkeep. And the historic William Brown House, where Jefferson, Madison, and George Washington once visited and dined, has a critical need for restorative brickwork and a long-term reservation plan. These are no longer routine maintenance issues. These buildings need real structural attention. Another facility is the Waterfront Pavilion. This facility was built in 1910 as part of the Anne Arundel County Alms House. It now hosts community programs and public and private events that sustain our site, and the continued deterioration of this building will put that capacity at risk. While we stretch every dollar and pursue grants and partnerships, the county support remains critical to keeping London Town safe, accessible, and open to the public. This request is for an increased funding to protect county-owned assets, stabilize existing facilities, and avoid much higher costs down the road. I want to thank the county executive and county council for your support in investing in our site. Thank you very much.
Our final 6 who signed up prior to the town hall are Victor Cornelier, Sam Hopkins, Casey Cameron, Adam Palinkas, Sam Hopkins, and Leah Paley.
I get 4 minutes. Use the volume. Good evening. Thank you for having this. This is the 3rd year in a row that I've spoken to this group. My name is Victor Cornelia. I'm a pickleball player. So you're going to hear about pickleball once again. The South County Recreation Center has over 1,100 signed up members playing pickleball for 2 courts. We've got 6 courts in Galesville. that the same staff tends to manage and oversee. The local staff at the recreation center is inundated. They're overworked. They need additional staffing to serve the needs of everyone who's there, which is pretty extensive. The entire area, and including Galesville, is one area that is in great demand. You heard earlier that the 6 pickleball courts in Galesville are operated under the Board of Education. At any moment, they could pull that away from the players who play there, which is part of that 1,000 membership group that's playing outdoors weather permitting. Right across the street, the county owns a significant amount of acreage that has a small playground for children. Unfortunately, that's where the people who play at pickleball during the week have to park out on the street. Recently, a young girl came flying out of the playground area, unsupervised, and she ran out in front of traffic coming down the street. Fortunately, the driver was attentive and prevented a major accident for this young child. So what the point is that property in Galesville, which the county already owns, we could end up developing pickleball courts. We could also consider in the future for a domed, lighted area. But put the courts in that location is not a big expense. It would do a great relief to the staff at the recreation center. So we'll continue pushing for this, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Sam Hopkins from Baltimore City, but I've spent much of my life in Anne Arundel County. And that gives me a special interest in the proposal of Friends of Historic Johns Hopkins House for the public-private partnership to make the birthplace of Johns Hopkins of great benefit to this county. The potential for this birthplace is far greater than ever before. Never has the statewide, countrywide, and worldwide admiration been so enormous for all the institutions founded by Johns Hopkins with his name on them. And this is of great emotional importance to me as a nephew of Johns Hopkins, a 3 great nephew. So this county is lucky, so lucky to have this birthplace within its bounds and still standing. I suggest there is no risk at all to this county in now doing what is needed to benefit from this birthplace. What is needed has been proposed by the Friends of Historic Johns Hopkins House, a public-private partnership. And let me quote the start of a Google AI report on this subject. Many birthplace historic homes in the U.S. are owned by government entities, state, city, or county, and operated in partnership with nonprofit organizations for tourism and community service. This public-private partnership model is a common approach to preservation and management. So this is a very well thought out and many times successfully tried proposal. And the AI report gives 12 examples. And we have the example in Baltimore of the success of this public partnership. The Johns Hopkins Summer Home was purchased by Baltimore City in 1895. It is the headquarters of Civic Works, a community service nonprofit since 1993. And shortly thereafter, my father created yet another nonprofit called Friends of Clifton Mansion. And Friends of Clifton Mansion and Civic Works have partnered to improve the home and now to restore its interior decor, enhancing its value for rental, for private events, and for being a much greater tourist attraction, and for improving the image of Baltimore City. So I think you have a great opportunity here that's been proven by many similar attempts. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, County Executive Pittman and Councilwoman Ledbetter. My name is Casey Cameron. I'm the Vice President of the Anne Arundel County Professional Firefighters. I'm here tonight because Anne Arundel County is knowingly operating an understaffed fire and EMS system, and the evidence is no longer disputable. For the last 7 years, firefighters have stood at these budget town halls and warned you that we are below safe staffing. Last fall, an independent third-party standards of coverage study removed all doubt. It confirmed that Anne Arundel County is short approximately 350 firefighters. This is not a projection, it's not a future risk, it's a current failure of the system. District 7 is approximately 80% non-hydrant. When fires happen here, and they do, we cannot turn a valve and get water. We rely entirely on water tankers to bring water to the scene. Yet tonight, only one single tanker in District 7 is independently staffed. Once again, that's one. The nationally recognized minimum standard is 4 firefighters per apparatus. In the entire county, only 4 out of 31 stations meet the national minimum standard, and 0 are in District 7. Every day, firefighters in this county are forced to do more with less. Fewer people, fewer resources, and 0 margin for error. We are exhausted, we are burned out, and the system is being held together by sacrifice, not staffing. County Executive Pittman, you say Anne Arundel County is the best place for all? But let's be honest, you cannot claim to be the best place while ignoring the minimum standard for safe staffing. We are not asking for special treatment. We are not asking for luxury. We are asking for the bare minimum to do our job safely. Here's the bottom line. If the staffing crisis continues, someone will get hurt or killed. And when that happens, it's not because we failed. It'll be because the leadership in this county had the data, you've had the warning, and chose inaction. Stop studying the problem, stop delaying accountability, fund safe staffing now. The residents in this county deserve better, and the firefighters who protect this county 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, deserve better. Before one of us become the next statistic. Thank you.
Good evening, County Executive Pittman, Councilwoman Ledbetter. My name is Adam Palinkas. I'm a resident of Anne Arundel County and the Secretary-Treasurer of the Anne Arundel County Professional Firefighters. I'm here tonight because this budget directly determines whether residents in the county get timely and effective emergency responses or whether they get delays that put lives at risk. The independent standards of coverage study conducted by ESCI asks a simple question. Can the county fire department meet community needs with current staffing and resources? The answer is clearly no. The system functions today only because firefighters routinely work beyond safe and sustainable limits. Anne Arundel County serves more than 500,000 residents across urban, suburban, rural communities with limited access, traffic congestion, geographic barriers, and aging infrastructure, all slow in responses. At the same time, call volume and incident complexity continue to increase. The study found that chronic understaffing and cross-staffing leaves critical apparatus unavailable during simultaneous emergencies. As a result, response time exceeds national best practice benchmarks, and in many areas, the department cannot assemble enough firefighters quickly enough to safely handle serious incidents. Let me be very clear. 3-person staffing is not sufficient. The study supports 4-person staffing because it allows life-saving tasks to occur simultaneously, not one at a time. When crews are understaffed, search is delayed, fire attack is delayed, ventilation is delayed, and medical care is delayed. These are not preferences, they are life safety failures. Every one of those delays increase the likelihood of civilian injuries, firefighter injuries, or death. These recommendations in this report are minimum requirements. not a wish list. End cross-staffing and implement four-person staffing. These recommendations require funding. There's no operational workaround that replaces staffing. Choosing not to fund these positions is choosing longer response times, fewer firefighters on scene, and delayed life-saving actions. The county now has an independent, data-driven roadmap identifying where the system fails and how to fix it. The only question left is whether leadership will act on it or ignore it until tragedy makes a decision for us. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leah Paley. I'm the CEO of the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. Thank you for the opportunity to provide remarks this evening. We as an organization are grateful to the county for your long-standing support, including $1.5 million in the FY26 budget. This year, we're respectfully asking that you include $2 million in the FY27 budget for our organization. Currently, the number of people experiencing food insecurity in our county sits at just over 66,000 residents, and that's up from 61,000 last year and over 47,000 2 years ago. That's a 40% increase in just 2 years. 60% of the people who are considered food insecure don't even qualify for SNAP benefits. And we're anticipating that with the recent changes to SNAP qualifications, this number is going to rise. Given these statistics, it's no surprise that the need for food remains alarmingly high. We're seeing an increase in need across the county, and District 7 is no exception. Between July and December, through our 9 pantry partners, 4 schools in which we operate the Backpack Buddies program, as well as our mobile pantry, we distributed over 195,000 pounds of food across 31,000 unique instances of assistance to our neighbors in need. This is a 9% increase in visits and 17% increase in pounds of food from the same period last year. We're averaging across the county over 52,000 instances of assistance each month. That's 9% more than last year at this time. To meet the demand for food in the next year, we're anticipating spending about $6.3 million between food that we purchase and donated product. 4% more than we're projecting this year, and over 22% more than the year before. We need the county's support. We need your continued partnership in order to continue to meet the need in our county. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Now we will open the floor for anyone who has not yet spoken. If you would like to present your budget request, please line up behind the microphone now.
Good evening. My name is Ellie Bassett, Councilwoman, Executive Director. I'm your Southwest Road Riverkeeper with Arundel Rivers, where we work to protect and restore our local waterways. I also live in Edgewater, so I'm happy to be here tonight, kind of wearing both hats as a resident and your riverkeeper. I have submitted many comments to the county on many different things. I'm sure you've heard my name before. When I started as riverkeeper, within 3 months, I submitted my first comment letter on Glebe Heights. Since then, I've submitted an additional 4, which means that we have had opportunities for modification requests, sketch plan, hearings, opportunities for public input. So consider this my final comment to the county on Glebe Heights as a thank you for what you did last night and your vote to protect the Glebe Heights forest. And so considering your budget for District 7, I think that Anne Arundel County is unique because of our waterways, especially District 7. Think about everyone here, what we think, why we like to live here. It's because of our waterways, our shorelines, our lands, our forests, our agricultural fields, our historical lands. And I just want you to please continue to prioritize that in the upcoming budget. Thank you again.
Good evening, County Executive Pittman and Councilwoman Ledbetter. My name is Linda Andreessen. I'm speaking this evening on behalf of the South Arundel Citizens for Responsible Development. I'm here specifically in support of our position of Discovery Village as a boat ramp and community center. The current lease expires in early 2027, which will leave South County without safe and reliable public water access for trailered boats. And importantly, acquisition of Discovery Village supports at least 3 recommendations of the Region 9 2040 step-down plan, including a permanent site for public water access. There are only 2 public ramps in the county. Both of those are in North County. A South County Community Center, which you've heard this evening from others, is so desperately needed, and reuse of existing buildings is sort of, part of the package. That's one of the recommendations, and Discovery Village acquisition would support all 3 of those. So we encourage your support. Thank you.
Okay, I've got about 30 minutes to. No. I'm Mike Lofton. I'm a resident of District 7 for 50 plus years now. I have 2 kids go through the school here, and they've turned into prosperous adults and produced 5 grandchildren, which delight me regularly. I wish they were closer. I've been working on water access issues in this county for a long, long time. And the Discovery Village question, I thought was settled business. The county signed a 30-year lease, was making payments, and all seemed well. Certainly the site had a ton more opportunity. The decision to deliberately default on the leases, which is what the county government did, and did it in a very bizarre way at the bitter end of the council's time to consider the budget. It failed. The vote to strike it failed. Okay, we'll wait. And it was brought back up again the next day, and mysteriously, the votes that were opposed to the shutdown flipped, and the striking of funds from the budget got approved 6-1. If you've never endured the YouTube videos on that, you ought to do it. It's really quite mysterious how all that happened. What I really want to talk about is the Land, Parks, and Preservation Plan. That's the county's master plan for recreation facilities. And the current one was done in 22. It speaks glowingly about Discovery Village and the creation of boat ramps, the need to define other locations. Frankly, folks, we've gone backwards in this area. We've walked away from it. We've not only lost a ramp at Discovery Village, we lost a car top access point as well. When I was pushing these projects, very often it was about the environment. And, well, you're going to knock down trees, you're going to intrude on communities. None of that happened at Discovery Village. In fact, the net environmental action was an improvement. It put in a stormwater program that hadn't been there before. This was a poor call. Take the mulligan. Buy it, it's for sale, buy it before somebody else does. We've got the most boats, we've got the most boaters, we've got the most money in the boat development funds at the state level. You were poorly advised on this, you had bad data, and you got a chance to take a mulligan, please do.
Prior to wrapping up, I just wanted to recognize that the Board of Education Vice President, Dawn Pulliam, joined us during testimony. If you could just give her a quick welcome. And I wanted to thank everyone for the great dialogue tonight. If you have any additional budget comments to share, please email them to budgetcomments@aacounty.org. That's budget comments with a dash between. Now, I will turn it back over to our elected officials for closing remarks. We will begin with Councilmember Ledbetter.
I just want to start first by thanking all of the staff that are here tonight that did the hard work of putting this together. Myself and the county executive, we get to show up and have the opportunity to listen to all of you because of the hard work of all the support staff here tonight. So if we could give everyone who helped make this happen. And I also want to thank our budget officer, Chris Trumbauer. Mr. Trumbauer, I think he does a fabulous job explaining what can be a very painful for some people process. Numbers are not exciting to everyone. They're very exciting to my 17-year-old son, but not everyone looks at numbers in that same light. And so, Mr. Trumbauer, I just compliments, hats off to you. You explain this in a way, year after year that I think is very digestible for people to understand, and understanding is such a key step in this process as we work together as a county to set our budget. Again, my favorite part of coming to these meetings and having these opportunities, and thank you, Mr. Pittman, for doing the work in your office to put these together, is hearing the personal stories behind why these things matter to you. You know, when they come to us in a budget book, they're line items, they're project names, but when you take the time to show up here and you tell your stories about how this impacts your life on a daily basis, whether it's, you know, why the school needs to be improved, or how the Case Agricultural Program has improved student lives, or, you know, an intersection that you drive through routinely in Crofton is affecting your day-to-day life. I'm not going to highlight everyone, we don't have the time, but those personal details, those stories, they really hit home. And so I can't emphasize enough how important it is to please continue to do that, whether it's at a budget town hall, whether it's coming into council to give testimony, whether it's interacting with the county executive or the state delegation or Board of Ed. Personal stories is where it's at. It makes a difference, even if you don't feel it in the moment. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for making it personal. Thank you for being here tonight. And thank you for continuing to make District 7 just such a fabulous place to live.
God, I thought this job would get easier after, doing it for a while, but I can see this budget is going to be just as difficult, if not more difficult than all the others. Sorry, Chris. Chris Trumbauer is still there in the back taking notes. He did not leave. But, I mean, the thing that I think is really cool is that there are so many people here who represent so many institutions, nonprofit organizations, causes, some county employees as well, or labor unions that care. I will note that the labor unions that were here didn't necessarily ask for more money. They asked for more people to work with them to do the job better for the residents. And I want to kind of recognize that, especially the firefighters and our police who really are understaffed, and they have been for a very long time. The math is, you talked about the size of the pie in the beginning, and I just, wanted to stand up and say, you mean taxes? You mean taxes? I mean, that is basically how you grow the pie with more revenue. And you can make cuts and replace things, of course, but I think most people who come to these, what they learn, they walk out feeling like they walked in maybe with 1 or 2 causes, and they walk out with 5 or 10, and they feel passionate about those. And so you understand how hard this is. I often ask the budget office a lot of questions about, well, what would 1 more penny per $100 of value on property get us in terms of revenue? What would 0.1% increase on the income tax get us? And we've done that. We've done some tax increases during the time that we were here in the last 8 years. And I'm really glad we did, especially that first year, because it put us in a place where we were able to do a lot more and make a lot of the progress that we've made. Obviously, I want to fund everything that there were moments where I almost stood up with the group of people that was standing up with the speaker because I felt so strongly about the issue, but I didn't, and I'm not allowed to say yes during these ever. And some of the things that you talk about really aren't that hard, and some of the things that you talk about, I know they ain't going to happen for reasons that we won't get into here. Maybe they will in our next administration, and I commend you for fighting for them anyway and continuing to push for them. But it is really hard, and it is really important that you show up at these, because I can tell you that when we're sitting down there making those final decisions, looking at those last dollars, or whether or not there are any last dollars after we've done the things that we think we absolutely have to do. Your voices are ringing in my ears, and I know you absolutely come to me with the things that you heard when I sit down with each council member about what their priorities are. And it really, really does make a difference to speak up. So congratulations, everybody. Y'all were amazing performers for this audience of 2, and thank you.
Oh, and if you don't like what's in the budget that we introduced, the
council will have 2 hearings to which you can go and let them know.
They will be advertised on the county council website.